Ladies and gentlemen, and my friend Timmy, have you ever looked at your car and thought you know what's missing here? A giant exposed propeller that could decapitate a watermelon at 50 paces? No? Well, Marcel Leyat did. And bless his aviation-fueled imagination, he gave the world the Leyat Hélica, a vehicle so unhinged, even my neighbor Bob swears it was used to transport alien ambassadors to the secret hangar under the Eiffel Tower. Before we dive headfirst into the spinning death blender that is the Hélica, don't forget to subscribe to the Cool Ideas channel, because here we don't just talk about the craziest cars in history. We do it with style, sarcasm, and the occasional unsolicited advice from Timmy. The year was 1913, before World War I, before smartphones, and before Timmy tried to patent his ideal of a beer-powered unicycle. That's when a French aviation genius named Marcel Leyat decided that cars were too safe and that what the world really needed was a giant spinning propeller bolted to a wooden box on wheels. Thus, the helicocycle was born, a three-wheeled, open-top nightmare that looked like it could slice bread, cows, and reputations in one go. It had one purpose: to scare pedestrians, confuse horses, and remind everyone that aviation wasn't just for flying anymore. It was for lunatics on wheels. By 1919, after taking a quick break for a global war, Leyat came back stronger, with 4 wheels this time, a company named Automobiles Leyat, and an even bigger propeller. And if you think that sounds like progress, keep in mind, he still didn't include a reverse gear. Because going backwards, that's for cowards and furniture movers. Now let me be clear, the first Hélica was only available as an open-top version, because apparently having a roof would interfere with the airflow and common sense. But then came the 1921 Paris Motor Show, and Marcel showed up with a new trick, a 2-door enclosed saloon model. The press went wild. Gentlemen in top hats gasped, and Leyat reportedly received 600 requests from potential buyers, proving once again that nothing sells like danger wrapped in varnished plywood. Even King Alfonso XIII of Spain showed interest. Though, let's be honest, he probably just wanted something dramatic to upstage his cousin's Bentley. So what made the Hélica tick, or buzz, or vibrate violently like an angry wasp in a shoebox? Under its narrow, fish-like fuselage sat an ABC Scorpion 2-cylinder boxer engine, pumping out somewhere between 8 horsepower and 18 horsepower, depending on which version you had and how brave you were. And it didn't drive the wheels. Oh, no. It spun a giant wooden propeller that pulled the entire vehicle forward, like a plane that never made it off the runway and just decided to ruin traffic instead. There was no gearbox, no clutch, no reverse, and no transmission, because who needs logic when you've got propellers? Cooling system, who needs radiators when the airflow is trying to rip your mustache off? The body was built like an aircraft, a lightweight wooden monocoque covered in plywood, weighing just 550 pounds, 250 kilograms. With its aerodynamic shape and no drivetrain losses, the Hélica could hit up to 65 miles per hour, 105 meters per hour, and one stripped-down version reached 106 miles per hour, 171 kilometers per hour on a racetrack in 1927. At that speed, the propeller became less of a drive system and more of a medieval weapon. Inside, the layout was tandem seating. Driver in front, passenger behind, like in a biplane. Visibility was terrible. Comfort was worse. Safety? Let's just say crossing your fingers was part of the startup checklist. Oh, and steering was done with the rear wheels because Marcel Leyat apparently lost a bet with physics. You turned the wheel and the back end of the car would swing out like a drunk flamingo. On early models, the suspension was basically pray harder, but later he added rear shocks, mostly so the passengers would stop screaming. As for braking, well, only the front wheels had drum brakes, because again, Leyat was more of an idea guy than a let's not die guy. And noise? With that propeller spinning inches from your nose, it sounded like a chainsaw trying to start a revolution. Drivers wore goggles, scarves, and occasionally an expression of sheer regret. Timmy once claimed riding one felt like kissing God in a hurricane. I'd ask how he knows that, but I'm afraid of the answer. Despite all this, the Hélica was a genuine head-turner and a face-slicer if you stood too close. The production numbers? Just 30 cars between 1919 and 1925. Two, yes, only two originals still exist. One's in the Musée des Arts et Métiers in Paris, the other in the National Motor Museum in Beaulieu, United Kingdom, where it continues to terrify schoolchildren and confuse mechanics. And the price now? At a Barrett-Jackson auction in 2013, one sold for around $1.85 million, roughly 1.7 million euros. That's right, a wooden propeller-driven safety hazard is worth more than a Bugatti, because collectors love two things: danger and bragging rights. Let's give credit where credit's due. Leyat may have built the world's most impractical car, but he did it with vision. Hélica was aerodynamic before wind tunnels, minimalist before it was cool, and completely bonkers before Elon Musk was even a glint in the eye of science fiction. It was, quite simply, the first car to give zero regard to sanity, and that's beautiful. So if you ever thought your car was weird, just remember, it doesn't have a spinning meat slicer mounted to the front. And thank God for that, because if Timmy had one, we'd all be in trouble. Massive thanks to all our current sponsors. You're the reason we're still able to tell these wild stories instead of being locked in a garage with Bob ranting about lizard people and French aerodynamics. Drive safe, stay weird, and never trust a vehicle that hums like an angry cello.